Locating a Brewery by Martha Berry. Main source of information, personal interview. Between a winery, distillery, and a brewery, I chose brewery because I knew I could interview one of my mom's best friends, Kat Golden, who is the production manager for the Cahaba Brewery in Birmingham, Alabama. Miss Golden has been in the beer industry for the past 12 years and was excited to help provide me with information for this project. Ingredients for making beer. All beer is made from 4 ingredients, which is hops, grain, yeast, and water. Great wine is made in the vineyard, and great beer is made in the brewery. This is a saying in beer industry, and it means that beer makers often think that the quality of the grape determines the quality of the wine, but the skill of the beer maker is not the quality of the ingredients. It's what makes good beer. While there is some truth to this due to the simple nature of beer's ingredients, in reality, the ingredients, especially the hops used, make a big difference in a beer's quality. Materials supply hops. The best hops are grown in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S., Oregon, and Washington, and also Germany, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Materials supply grain. Most grain, on the other hand, is grown in a specific region of the United States, specifically the Great Plains, with the highest production in Kansas and North Dakota. Material supply and where to locate them. From a material supply perspective, a brewery can be located almost anywhere since hops and grain usually have to be purchased from a supplier or middleman, and then combined with water and yeast to create beer. Demographic and economic issues. One, can employees afford to live where a brewery is? Brewers do not make a huge amount of money, and this makes locating in an expensive city like New York, San Francisco, or Seattle much more difficult. Two, do the local people like craft beer? Can they afford it? Craft beer tends to be consumed by people in the upper middle and upper classes because it is more expensive to produce and therefore more expensive to buy a mass-produced beer like Bud Light. Also, these are the type of people who are more likely to be exposed to craft beer, although traveling and sampling beers at different restaurants and festivals. Demographic and economic issues data. Although personal experience and knowledge can be important in learning about the demographic and economic information of an area, if you need to look up data in the United States Census Bureau has an information available online for free. Availability of land. A brewery can be located pretty much anywhere that zoning laws allow it. With that said, there are many considerations about where land is available for a brewery. While hops and grain can be trucked in from their growing regions and yeast and water are available pretty much anywhere, other considerations can include the cost of land, whether you want to have a tap room with customers and the atmosphere. Do you mind a steel site industrial building, or do you want to be located in a beautiful old factory? Political and legal issues. To quote Miss Golden, for the love of God and all humanity, do not open a brewery in Alabama or in Utah. Some states, especially those that are very religious, have a strict alcohol laws that make opening up and running a brewery much more difficult. It is much easier to start a brewery in a more liberal-minded states like Massachusetts, Minnesota, or Oregon. Of course, these states also tend to have more expensive land, higher salaries for more employees. Other factors, employees. Beer is part of science. learning about the fermentation process, and part art, developing recipes for new and flavorful types of beer. Economics are important in beer brewing too. All that stainless steel run a brewery operation is costly, and the average profit on a case of beer is only $3 for most craft breweries. They need to sell a lot of beer to stay in business. How much money? On average, it costs between $500,000 and $1.5 million to open a craft brewery in the US. Decide on a location. I chose Nashville, Tennessee for the location of my brewery. Nashville has a great economy, lots of tourism, a growing population, including people from all over the US and even the world. And it is not too far from material supplies, nor is it too expensive. Tennessee is in the South, is more liberal minded than Deep South, and I think it would be a brewery would be very successful there. Name a brewery. I was very hung up on a name, so I used artificial intelligence to come up with a name, a logo for my brewery, which is the Music Brew in Nashville.